Zdravíme čtenáře Muzikusu z Jaroměře z festivalu Brutal Assault. Dnes tu máme bubeníka Eda Warbyho, známého ze spolupráci s kapel jako Ireon, Gorefest nebo Hail of Bullets, kteří tu dnes vystupovali. So Eddie, let's start with today's show of Hail of Bullets. How did you enjoy the show on the festival?
Very much. I mean, we had some trouble because they planned us in at 1:45 at night at first, and we're supposed to play Partisan tomorrow. So we're like, that's not going to happen, because we'll be broken the next day. So they managed to reschedule in the afternoon, which was good. And yesterday we watched the Asphyx show, of course, and we saw the crowd, and we're like, oh, I hope they're going to be as good with us, and they were. So yeah, it was a good one. Right. I mean, we played Obscene Extreme last year. Which was also very good for us, but it was raining so much, and now it's got the nice weather and everything, so it's good for the people and good for us. And,
we're really lucky about the weather.
Yeah,
this summer is one of the worst that we ever experienced in Czech Republic. So.
I was prepared for a mud bath again.
So as we talked about previously, you're involved in various bands as Gorefest, Hail of Bullets, also bands like Ireon. You're working with Arin Lucassen. So again, covering this question, how do you manage to squeeze your time for all these projects?
It's just matter of good time management, and like I said, I also have a day job, and just because I enjoy doing it so much, it's easy. Well, not easy. It's not always easy. Sometimes you go, oh, why did I start this project? Why am I not only writing, playing, producing, working together with the producer to get the mix up and everything? I was like, sometimes, I'm not sure if this is an English expression, but in Dutch we have an expression, you put too much hay on your fork. So I feel like a guy with a really small fork with a big stack of hay on it, trying to carry it, sometimes. But most of the time I just enjoy it so much. And when it's done and you get the final CD and you're just, so proud that you made it, and you see your name, and you get all the good reviews, and you go, okay, that was worth it. You forget all the pain and the drama and the sleepless nights, because I take stuff very personal. I don't work on it and think, okay, I'm just working on something. I can go to sleep at night. I live it, I breathe it, I dream about it. I don't do stuff half-hearted or whatever. So it's really a total immersion in the project that I'm working on. So it's taxing sometimes, but it's basically I enjoy it just so much that it just make it work somehow. So the other guys are like, how do you do it? And then I say, oh, I just watched that movie. You go, you watch movies as well? I mean, yeah, gotta relax sometimes, So
need a bit of rest with your crazy schedule. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
We already covered Hail of Bullets previously, but now we want to go to another band called Gorefest, which probably made you the most famous so far. What are your strongest memories about the days in Gorefest? You split up once again. Now you're not actually together anymore.
No.
You had another split up. 2009 approximately.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are your strongest memories about Gorefest?
The early days mostly. When I joined, that was my first real band, that made albums and did tours and stuff, and I just fell right in. We were writing for the second album, which was going to be False at that time, and we just got signed to Nuclear Blast, and we went to London to England for a week, just touring, and I was like, wow, this is my dream come true, And then we had the release of False, and just the whole rise of the band, and then my best memory is probably the first Dynamo festival, and the following US tour that we did with Death, supporting Death for like 2 months.
If you're talking about Death,
I know.
I have their concert from Dynamo, and I'm saying, God damn it, I was too young to see Chuck Schuldiner alive.
The guy was awesome. People say he's an asshole. Not true.
No, he's a genius.
Not to us, at least. The guy was super nice. He invited us himself. It's like, I want you guys to come on tour with me in the States. We're like, yes, please.
Yes, please.
And it was great. We had 6 weeks on a bus together, and there was never tension or a day that we thought, oh, we're not being treated well or anything. He was always super nice to us, and he was a fan. He was watching every show. It was like, yeah, especially me. It was like, he's totally into drummers. He was like, oh, Eddie, oh, you're so good. You know, the guy's like, he's gonna steal you for his band. You know, like, I don't think so. But,
Come on, why not?
you know,
He's changed many drummers.
yeah,
in
he
his-
has,
in
but
his
I
band.
think a Dutch drummer would have, you know, been difficult for him. So.
All right, all right.
But you know, that was, those two things are, for me, the best days that we had with Gorfus. And then after that, things got complicated. Erase we did, and we, you know, kind of made some bad decisions, and then we started drifting with the whole Soul Survivor thing, and, which we believed in at the time. But if I look back, I think maybe we should have done it differently.
All right, all right.
Maybe we should have started a second band, just me and Boudewijn playing 70s rock, and keep the death metal for Gorefest. And so, and then we got back together, and I was like, okay, we can only do this if we're going to be the death metal Gorefest, and not the everything Gorefest that we were at the end. Because I don't think that band would have been interesting for today's scene. So I was like, we have to start making death metal again, and we did. La Muerte was still, you know, kind of like finding our way, but Rise to Ruin was a 100% death metal album, and so I'm happy we got a second chance. We did a good tour. We did all the big festivals again, and we sort of got a chance to redeem ourselves for the mistakes that we made in the past, and I was happy. Well, I was not happy that we broke up again, but I was happy that we did it on a high note instead of on, you know, like going down so much that we had to stop or something. And, you know, it wasn't a happy breakup again, but on another level it was. So you know, it was good enough for me.
All right, all right. So let's go now finally for my favorite topic, Arion.
Okay.
And you joined Arion, and you recorded with him the album Into the Electric Castle, I guess.
Yeah.
How did he actually discover you?
With Gorefest, we worked together with Oscar Holleman, Dutch producer, and he's a friend of Arjen's, and he worked with him on his first two albums. And on the first album, he used Ernst van Ee, which is sort of a famous Dutch drummer. And the second album, he programmed the drums himself. And for the third album, he wanted to get a different drummer. And Oscar was like, well, you should check Ed out. He's really good. And Arjen was like, oh, he plays death metal. That's not what I do, so that's not going to work. And he was like, just go see him. So Arjen came to a show, and he was pretty blown away. And then he gave me a phone call, and he said, okay, well, you know, I'm thinking of getting you involved with my next album, and I need a drummer that can be a cross between John Bonham and Neil Peart from Rush.
Right.
I'm like, okay, you know, I have affinity with both those drummers, so I think I can manage. So, okay, I'm gonna send you the music. I'll write it down. I was like, I can't read notes. He's like, oh, okay, I don't think this is gonna work then, because like, okay, just send me the music. I have a good memory. I'll be fine. You know, I can work it out. Just listening to the music, and so we did the session. And it was just magic. It was unbelievable. It was like we'd worked together for 20 years or something, and we were just, he was like, okay, try this, try that. And I was like, yeah. And it, you know, if you listen to the album, it's just total chemistry going on. And he was just blown away. And we've been working together ever since.
Right.
So, you know, it's just a very cool relationship. He'll use other drummers in between if he needs. I like hitting hard, so if he has a quieter project, he's not going to ask
Guild
me.
Machine, he used
Exactly.
Previous
Yeah,
Porcupine
he
Tree
called me
drummer.
up. He said, Ed, I'm not going to ask you for my next album. I want you to know. I don't want you to read in a magazine afterwards that I'm making an album and you're not on it. I just want to tell you. I was like, okay, fine. You know, we'll see each other for the next album. He said,
Sure.
Absolutely. So, you know, and he knows that I don't enjoy playing quietly. I'll do it. I've done it on Arion stuff, but it's not my thing. And he can tell by my face that I'm not into it. So if he needs pounding, he gets me. And if he needs, you know, something quieter, he gets somebody else. And I'm totally okay with that. So,
But that's the main benefit of Arion, I guess. He's very friendly and very fair.
Yeah,
you can say
he
that.
is, absolutely.
So as we mentioned, you work with him basically on all his albums so far. If we
Pretty
make some
much, yeah.
exceptions,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
How did you like so far? You know, the cooperation. I mean, if you
It's
didn't like,
great.
if you didn't like it, you left
Exactly.
already.
I wouldn't.
But
You know, I'm not the kind of person that works with somebody for money or anything. You know, if I don't like the guy or don't like the music, I'm not doing it. But it's always a treat to get together with Arjen, and we did 4 Arion albums, I think, including the re-recording of the second album, because he wanted to have real drums instead of the programmed stuff that he did. So it's like, okay, you got to do this. You know, we're gonna do it. And we didn't have click tracks, so we had a blast with me pounding out the click track so we could record the drums to a click. And he set up this keyboard stand, and he gave me a drumstick. He's like, okay, do the time, click, 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 and we recorded the whole album like that, and then we did the drums afterwards. But it was just such a stupid way to do it in a sense. But so we're just we have a lot of things in common musically, and it's easy to work with the guy, and he finds me easy to work with, I guess, because he can just sit in a control room, and if I see him jumping up and down, I know I'm doing it right, you know, because he's very, you know, he'll come out and say right away, oh, that's cool, that's not cool, do this, do that, you know, do that thing I like, and I'll know what he means, and you know, do cozy. Oh, okay, I'm doing cozy here, you know, so cozy Powell.
Right.
And so it's just a lot of fun to work with the guy. We did one tour. I wish we'd done more, but he's kind of hard to get out of his house, I guess. And but that is
studio.
one of the greatest things I've ever done. The Star One tour that we did in 2001,
Pretty far away.
2, I'm not sure.
Long time ago.
Yeah, but that was just amazing. Just every day was just a blast, you know, getting all these people together. Magic. He makes magic. I mean, it sounds corny, but it's true. You know?
I understand.
So.
But the regular comments on the DVDs from during the recording, the guys are just sitting and looking at each other. Is this guy ever trying to make a mistake? Is he ever gonna make a bloody mistake? It's really boring. Eddie, make a mistake, please.
Well, I do make mistakes.
You never do. Come on, you're just standing there in 5 minutes and no, in that part in the half, do the my thing, and you always do what he wants. How do you manage to be so, you know, mistakeless? How to say? Do not make mistakes.
I honestly can't say I'm mistakeless or whatever. I make mistakes, trust me, I do. But I just go for it, you know. I just fearless, I suppose. Just try to give the best that I can. You know, sometimes if I hear something, and he goes, "That's great," I'm like, I can do better. I do it again. That was great. I'm like, that's not good enough. Okay, Ed, I'm gonna give you 100 guilders if you keep that take. I'm like, oh, tempting. No, I'm gonna do it again. It's like, oh, you know. So that actually happened. It's a fail that I was doing. That was back in the guilder time, so that's like 10 years ago or something. But, and he actually offered me money to keep the take, and I said, no, it's not good enough. Let's do it again. You know? So I'm a total perfectionist, and so is he. So he understands. But I'm not perfect, but in the studio you can always get a second chance or a third chance to do it right. So,
Right.
You know, maybe it's only me hearing that it's not perfect, and Arjen goes, well, it's good enough for me, but you know, I always do push myself to get the best thing going. So.
Right. But still, I was watching it today live, and you don't make mistakes there at all, as well.
Oh, I can pinpoint all the mistakes I made. Trust me.
So what do you do when you make some mistake? You know, some drummers lost the drumstick, or you know, hit something bad, or the beginning goes bad. So what do you do when you make such a mistake? Like
I curse a lot.
Yeah, plus the Dutch thing.
yeah, exactly. And then I pine for a couple hours after the show, and then the guy goes, "It wasn't so bad." I'm like, "Nah, I fucked that up and that, and there I made a mistake." I'm like, oh, you know. And then I have a beer, and then the guys go, "Oh, Ed, it's okay," you know. And then the fans go, "Oh, it's great." And then I go, after a couple hours, I lighten up, and I think, okay, it was okay. It wasn't so bad.
But doesn't your mistake get lost in death metal music?
Of course, nobody hears it.
There's such a crazy mess over there.
I know, nobody noticed. It's funny, we have a forum, and there's this one guy on there, and he's my biggest fan, and he's a drummer, and he's really focused on the drums. And he came to see me in Norway when we played. He's from Norway. And I made a mistake. I missed a cymbal. And he comes up to me afterwards, and it's the first time I met him in real life, and he says, "That was good, but you missed the crash." I said, "Yes, I did, and thank you for noticing." You know, because that means he's paying attention. I suppose. Most people don't notice it. I do, and I feel bad when I make a mistake, when I fuck up. But you can't play 100% all the time. You know, you travel, you're tired. The circumstances are stressful at festivals usually. So if I have a club show and I can prepare and have the sound check in the afternoon and I have my own drum kit all set up the way I want it, you know, I'm really picky about the setup. I want it to be all perfect, all cymbals straight and the toms exactly right. Then I usually play better than I play at a festival. But people don't notice if you fuck up.
Sure. Very specific sound. It's like a typical like a drummer, you know, keeping the basic rhythm.
Yeah.
But I would like to cover also the thing you're as one of very few involved in various projects. Let's say I guess it was last year when Mike Tirana made a world record playing at the 4 bands at the same day at Masters of Rock Festival.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, making a commercial for Masters of Rock over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But still, he managed to play 4 concerts in a row. Do you think you'd be able to do at least like 3 in a row? Let's go.
Okay,
Alright,
I could.
Arjen will come out of his house
Yeah.
and make a concert first Arion, there's Star One, then you will do with a Hail of Bullets, and then maybe, luckily, in the late evening, 11th hour.
Oh, okay. Well, then I wouldn't have to drum anymore, so I could maybe do that. Maybe. If the occasion was worth it, then I would try, definitely. I can't promise I would, finish all 3 concerts and do a good job. But 4, jeez.
But is it really physically that hard? I was looking at you from the back, and you finish the song, and you.
Yeah, this is
Water.
It was really hot on stage, and I usually have a fan with me, and I didn't have that with me because we're flying in. So it was like, and I had a T-shirt. The guys from Hypnos gave me a T-shirt, and it was pretty tight. So I was like, I'm choking here. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, I'm getting older too. So.
To make such something that huge.
What's that?
To make something such a
Yeah,
huge for 4 concerts in a row. Too long.
I mean, Mike Tirana plays a lot. I don't rehearse. When I'm at home, I don't play. Last time I played drums was last weekend when we did Wacken. So in between, didn't touch my drum kit or anything. So I'm probably not at his level, for stamina, fitness, whatever. The guy plays every day probably.
Have you seen him?
So I know he's huge, so I'm just a tiny guy. I mean, so I think if I played every day, I could probably do 4 shows in a row. I think maybe.
All right. Now, if we compare you with some biggest drummers in the scene, let's say Mike Tirana or Mike Portman, he recently left Dream Theater. How do you compare yourself to the other drummers, and how do you see them in your eyes, like
I don't
posers or
I
geniuses?
I like a lot of drummers. I'm not really into the new generation. They're super fast. Trigger it doesn't excite me. I think it's brilliant, and I could never do it. But it doesn't turn me on. I don't go, wow, that's good. I listen to Cozy Powell just pounding a simple beat, and I go, fuck, that is great. That is heart and soul poured into music. John Bonham, doing a cool groove or a big fill that he, the stuff that he used to do. And then I think, wow, that turns me on. That gets my heart beating faster, and it gives me goosebumps. And the really technical stuff, I think, that's clever. That's good. Probably practiced a lot, but it doesn't touch me here. So,
sure.
But I like a lot of drummers. I like Gene Hoglan a lot because the guy's just a god in every sense. He's a great guy. He's a great drummer, and he's not so technical that you go, oh, I could never do that. It's understandable what he does, but it's brilliant. So Mike Portnoy, he's good. It's not. I'm not a big fan of Dream Theater, to be honest, but. The older stuff, I like the old albums. I buy all their albums and then I play them and I go, okay, cool. File, I just doesn't really. It doesn't really. Porcupine Tree, same thing. I like the older albums better than the newer stuff. For Opeth,
Totally over than me. I like the latest album with Porcupine Tree than the previous ones.
I like
Dream Theater, the first, and the Train of Thought.
Okay.
Octavarium, and that's it. That's about it.
No,
How about
I like
Opeth?
Porcupine Tree. I like Signify. I like what's the blue one? The blue cover. The one after the live
Fear of a
album.
Blanket Planet,
Stupid
no,
Dream, I think.
Okay.
Great stuff. And Opeth, I like Blackwater Park and the Deliverance and Damnation combo. Awesome albums, unbelievable. And I buy everything they do. But for some reason it doesn't touch me as much. I mean, I haven't heard the new one yet, so I hear that's supposed to be really good. But the drummer is awesome.
10th album or so. It
I
should
know.
be. They should do their best.
Yeah, but I don't put myself among other drummers and say, okay, I'm there or something, or there or there. It blows me away if I see a fellow drummer and they go, I'm a fan of yours. Really? Really? I mean, so that still blows me away. That's funny. Like, yeah, you were an influence on my drumming. I'm like, okay, cool, you know. So just never think about that, you know. So I just do my thing.